Hi everyone and welcome back. This week I'm planning to just do a quick whip update, a little bit different than I normally do, and I'll get into that in a second. But the reason why, it is the last week of April, and so this Friday, May 1st, Stitch Mania starts, and I'm competing, it's not a competition, only against yourself. I'm participating in my first one, so I need to um, take my focus away from my current whips for a little while just to work on those. What I chose to do this year, for those of you that aren't familiar with Stitch Mania, it's a group on Facebook. Um, every May, you do something that challenges you stitching wise. This year, since it's my first year, I'm going to go with the traditional format, which is 15 new starts in the first 15 days of May. I've started kitting things up. It's kind of daunting. It's really daunting, actually. I'm running out of needle minders. I'm running out of needles. I don't have enough fabric. I have my 15 projects picked out. The patterns that weren't hard copy that are PDF, I have them printed and ready to go. I have fabric for 9 of them. I've ordered fabric for the other ones. Don't know if it'll come or not because, well, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic and nobody has any stitching materials. Some of the fabrics are scheduled to ship on May 1st. Some of them I don't know. Some of them are hand dyed and they haven't been dyed yet. Which I knew that that was a possibility when I ordered them. Actually, a couple of the patterns aren't available yet. They were supposed to be available mid-April, and as far as we've heard, they're not out yet. So I have some backups planned, not to worry like you were worried. I have some backups planned so that if those don't come in by the 15th of May, I have other things that I can do. But I'm going to hold out and hope that they come in sometime during the period of Mania. I'm going to do my videos a little bit different then. Like I said, Stitch Mania starts on Friday, the 1st of May, and I'm going to do the first 15 days. So what I'm planning to do with my videos, I'm going to do a video diary of each start. Now the problem with that is that means I won't have my regularly scheduled video up on May 13th. Instead, I'm going to move it to May 16th so that I can get the whole video diary in, but then it's going to be a big long one. It's going to be a whip-a-palooza, because I will have all of my Stitch Mania starts on there. And one other thing that I'm planning to do during Stitch Mania is once I get my start in, my goal is to get a start in, put 100 stitches in on these just to get a feel for them so that they can go into my regular rotation once the first 2 weeks of May are over. And then any other time I have, I'm going to focus on my current whips. Particularly, there are 2 that I really, really want to get done, and I'll mention them when I'm going through them. So you'll also get to see some progress on those. I may stick in a midway through video, so you may get one next week. I haven't decided yet, but just know that my regular every 2-week video is going to be about 3 days late, just because I want to do a video diary of all of my Stitch Mania project, and that takes me 3 days over. Well, it takes me 2 days over, and then you've got to give me a day to edit it. So that's what's going on. I'm really excited. I'm super nervous. Another thing that I did is some of the fabrics I've ordered, the ones that are coming in first are an even weave, a Lugana, and a linen. And I've never stitched on Lugana, and it's been probably 20 years since I tried linen, and I didn't like it. And I didn't actually finish the project that I was working on. So Very nervous about trying those. Those will be new for me, but this is a learning experience, so I'm going to learn. All right, updates on where I am with my work. I have a finish. It's not a cross-stitch finish, but look at this. Ah, let go. Let go, let go. Yay! I have my scarf finished. Well, it's not completely finished, as you can see. I have to find my yarn needle and sew these ends in. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. You can see at the beginning here, as I was starting, it's kind of rough, especially on the edges. I've got some loose stitches. Towards the end, though, it got nice and tight. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to tell on myself, I bound it off backwards. So this should have been over here so that I could pull it through this last little loop and bind it off. I'm going to have to unpick it and do it the other way. But let's be real. I'm not going to wear this until at least September. So I'll do it later. Now that I got that finished, I need something to work on during my webinars because I'm still working from home, still essential. Working from home 1 day a week, which is actually not something I can easily do because I have a lab-based job, so I kill time. That's not completely true, and if anyone who happened, actually I know several of my coworkers watch this, I am working. I'm working. It's just, it feels kind of pointless. So anyway, I am doing a lot of training, I'm watching a lot of webinars, and I've said in the past I need something to keep me busy, keep my hands busy. It helps me focus a little bit better. So now that the scarf is done, I am working on the matching hat. It is, you can see the same pattern other than the ribbing at the bottom for the start. It's the same pattern as the scarf. It's in the same color. This is Lion Brand Yarn Heartland Series Isle Royale. And that's actually probably going to go pretty fast because I did this in an hour. So I have another webinar tomorrow morning before I go into work. I probably will have that finished sometime early next week. So that's my knitting. I've gotten some feedback that at least one of my viewers would like to see some more knitting. I'm open to suggestions on what to do. Like I said, I learned to knit when I was 8, and I got about as far as knit and purl. I've done some cable stitch, but I haven't really done a lot of complicated stuff. I haven't really made a lot of different things, mostly blankets and scarves and things that are really easy, so I'm ready to branch out, but I don't know how. So I'm open to suggestions. Now let's get into the cross stitch, because that's where all of the stuff is. I am going to go through every single one of my whips this week, except for the 3 that I've put in permanent timeout, which I've never shown on this channel anyway, so that you can see where they are, so that I can remember where they are before I completely put them away and start working on Mania. So that I can kind of prioritize them and just remember what I've got. And some of these haven't been in a while, so help everybody remember what I've got out there. So the first 2 are probably the 2 I haven't worked on in the longest time. This one is Son of a Stitches, Hooked on Sonic's Doctor Who themed Stitch Along. Stitch Along is actually over. It ended when the new season of Doctor Who did, which I also haven't seen, and I am horribly behind. So, as you can see, all I've got is part of a word and part of a Sonic. Long, long ways to go left on this one. it's kind of, there's a lot of backstitch and a lot of detail and a lot of fractional stitches on this, and they're gorgeous and I love them. But it's really time consuming, and I made the mistake of trying to do it on 18 count Aida. So fractional stitches are a pain in the butt. And there is Lexi. I wondered when she was going to be there. So that one, I really like it, but I have to have a lot of time that I can focus really intently to work on that one, so it doesn't get a lot done. The next one, Cunning Cross-Stitch Letters from Hogwarts Stitch Along. This one has been stuck on the back burner for a long time too, just because of the, I hope that's not too distracting. She's left me alone all night, and as soon as I turn the camera on, here she is. Anyway, this one's just, it's huge. And it's super fun, and I really love it, and I'm going to finish it. It's just that with the Christmas presents I still have, it's the end of April, and I still have Christmas presents I haven't finished yet from Christmas 2019, the great Christmas panic of 2019. So I haven't felt like I could justify working on a lot of these stitch-alongs, especially as I get further behind on them. They start to shift down the priority list, where I want to get, first I want to get the gifts done that are overdue. Second, I have a couple other gifts that I would like to give to people that need to at least get started. Third are the stitch-alongs that I'm at least close to being caught up on, and then fourth is the stitch-alongs that I'm way behind on, because they will still be there when I get done. But anyways, Letter from Hogwarts, I'm still working on Chapter 1. There's my Ravenclaw banner, my eagle head, my part of an R. I haven't finished the frame yet, so you can see there's parts of the parchment on the side. About the only thing I have gotten done is my wand. And yeah, lots and lots of work left to go on this, but it's super pretty. It's super fun. I'm loving as the chapters come out. I'm still reading them. I'm still making my choices. So I am going to be a Quidditch chaser when I eventually get to it. And the next chapter comes out on May 1st, so I'm interested to see what that one is too. There's been some speculation going on in the group, and any of the things that people have guessed I would be super excited about. So that's coming out on Friday too, and then I will be 3 chapters behind. I get anxious when I do this, but that's why I never go through all my whips at once. Alright, this is one of the Christmas presents. I've been working pretty steadily on this one, and out of 4 pages I've got 2 done, and I've got a good finish on the 3rd one. This is, if you've ever seen the cartoon, This Is Fine. I think it's pretty obvious that that's what this is. The person who designed this particular pattern from it changed up the colors a lot. I really like them. And as you can see, I've got the 2 bottom pages done, and then the top page, this page ends right here. So I've got just that much left of this page to finish and a couple little things down here. I'm finally making progress on it because I've started making it a priority. This is my very first ever full coverage piece. So even though it's small, it's been extremely frustrating because I'm not used to having to work with full coverage. It's been a learning experience. I've discovered as I go along, I've always been a 14 count Aida user, and I think I said before you can pry the loop start from my cold dead hands. So I've always used 2 strands. I usually like that rustic, well-defined X look with some space in it. I do not like it on full coverage. So I'm not 100% thrilled with how this one is turning out. But it's not awful, and I think that the person that I'm giving it to is going to really like it, and I have learned something, and from now on I will do at least a 16 count when I do full coverage, probably 18 count, and anything lower I'm going to start using 3 strands on, unless I'm really going for that rustic look. The only whip I'm caught up on, temperature stitch along. I usually put my links in the show description. I'm not going to put the link in for this one right now just because the group admins have gotten overwhelmed with new members recently, so they've switched the group to hidden just for a little while until they can get a handle back on things, and then I'm sure they will reopen it. In the meantime, if you really, really, really want to do this one, reach out to me directly and we can see about getting you an invitation to join. But anyway, here it is. This is current through April 26th. I love the way it's turning out. I'll try to move it a little closer so maybe you can see some of those colors better. I really wish the étoile would show up when I'm filming or when I'm taking photographs. It doesn't even for Instagram. But this whole thing has a shimmer, and it's really pretty. You can see I'm starting to get into some of the spring colors out here, coming around, heavier on the yellows and the greens. There's a cold snap 2 weeks ago, more yellows and greens. I'm really excited. May 3rd right here, we're going to finally finish off the first diamond. And we're going to keep moving on. But anyway, this is the only one I'm caught up with. It's current through yesterday, and really pleased with how it's turning out. This one I'm close to caught up on. I'm working on April's entry. It comes out on the 15th of the month, which I really like because it's not like everything comes out on the 1st, and on the 1st it's just like, like all of this stuff comes down on my head. And this one doesn't. And so I feel like I have more time to work on it. I have a little bit more breathing room. This is Climbing Goats, Wonders of Space Stitch Along. As you can see, I am currently working on the Crab Nebula, but I finished the first 3. January was the Ring Nebula. February was the Pillars of Creation. March was Pluto. And now I've got the Crab Nebula that I'm working on down here. And I've just barely gotten a start on it. But I have another 2 weeks and some change before it's overdue. So it'll definitely stay in the rotation. Gonna try to keep as close to keeping up as I possibly can on this one, because the science geek in me just loves it. This is so cool. I've made a couple switches with this one that I've really been pleased with as time has gone on. I switched out the black for black étoile. So you can't see it because stupid cameras, but this has, all the black has a shimmer. So space and a subtle little star background. And then something else I've done that so far is only on Pillars of Creation and on the Ring Nebula is the individual stars where it called for white. I've actually subbed that out for glow in the dark. And when I shut the light off in my craft room at night, they do glow. So I have a starry, starry night. So that's Wonders of Space. Next, another stitch along. Surprise, surprise. This is the Avatar: The Last Airbender stitch along. Yes, that is the way it faces. So I'm just barely, as you can see, I'm working on the background. I think this border is so cool. I love the way that it's turning out, but it is going to be a long, long time before I actually get to any any figures. The first month was the Waterbender, and that's what I'm still working on. And the third month just came out yesterday, and it is the Earthbender. And I'm super disappointed that I'm behind on this one because I really like it, but it's full coverage, so it's taking a lot of work, and it's just something I don't have time to do right now. But I will get there. Another stitch along I'm way behind on. This one has to be done by this Christmas, so I have to get caught up. But this is Cloud's Factory Grimm Fairy Tales Stitch Along. And I am still working on February. Get back there. So you can see it's the Princess and the Frog, and I'm almost done. I just have this one little flower left to go, and then I have the floral border, and then I can move on to March, which was Hansel and Gretel. The new experience for me with this one has been the overdyed fabrics, or not fabrics, the overdyed flosses, the Weeks Dye Works. I think it's Berry Splash is this color here, and down here, and over here. The Hibiscus, and then the Cherub. And even with the Cherub, I love that you can see the subtle color differences. And it just really ends up looking cool. I did not expect to see them quite so much, because looking at the floss itself, it doesn't look like much. But then when you actually get it onto the fabric, it really does turn out cool. So I'm sure a lot of people already know these things. Like I said, for me, I've always been a really basic stitcher. 14 count Aida, DMC, 2 strands, really simple. So branching out into the dyed fabrics and the overdyed flosses, different fabric types coming up, has all been kind of new stuff for me. And I mean, that's part of the point of this channel, is to learn and to, well, just to learn. This is the other Christmas present that I'm working on. This is Natsu from Fairy Tale. I've made a lot of progress on this one, also because I've kind of settled in and started working on it. I decided to move the Q snap. It had been lower down. I decided to move it up because I want to just fill in some of these huge blocks of color in the hair and in the face. I am super dreading getting to the scarf because that is all white, and I hate working white on white. I feel like it's pointless, but you can see, even just looking at the eyes, it's not pointless. You can see the difference. So I'll do it. I won't be happy about it, but I'll do it. So anyway, making progress. He's got more hair. He's got more of a body, and I really like this one, actually. This particular designer has a couple others. He also did Gray and Happy and Lucy, and I think when I get done with this one and I have time to do something for myself, if I ever have time to do something for myself, I'm going to go ahead and do Gray for myself, because as you can see, I like Gray the best. And last but not least, I have a new whip. This one is also a gift. There's no due date on it, but I'd like to have it out sooner rather than later. And I'm a little bit in love with it already. So this is, the pattern is from Oh My Stitches shop. It is in a World of Roses, Be a Sunflower. So it's a lot of bright yellows and greens, and it's got some red and bright white in it. And I've chosen to do it on this There went all my whips, and Lexi's gonna go check it out. They're fine. It's okay. Anyway, I chose to do this on Mystic Fabrics Night Sky Brandy, and wow, the light is actually catching this. It's an opalescent linen, hand-dyed, in shades of blue with blacks over it, I believe. So as you can see, this yellow is really popping on it already, and I expect the red will also look amazing against it. This white, the same color as the Q-snap, is the color of the lettering. The original model was done on black, so I figured using this navy wouldn't be too far off, and so far I just love it, even though I've only got a few hundred stitches in on it. But anyway, it's going to be pretty, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm having a little trouble with this one. I'm adjusting. My eyes have always been great, and now they are not. And this is kind of hard for me to stitch on. So I may actually have to pull out the big guns and get the magnifier out, because it's a little bit difficult to stitch on, and my stitches look horrible. And I'm not going to show you a close-up because they really look horrible. So that's it. Those are all 9 projects that I'm currently working on. I really don't know what to say about them other than I wish I had more time to work on them. Now that I'm back into feeling like myself a little bit more, I hope that everybody else is doing as best they can and adjusting. So I'm starting to get back into stitching, and I'm starting to really regret not having the time to just sit and work on all of these to my heart's content. But they will get done eventually. I may procrastinate, but I do always finish in the end, so they will get done. And that's it. In terms of media to recommend, I don't really have a lot. I've been... what have I been doing? I started listening to The Witcher on audiobook, but it expired, and I had to return it to the library, so I'll get it again eventually. I really am enjoying the Vampire Knitting Club, but again, also I've finished the last audiobook, and I want to stitch, I don't want to read. So I need to come up with some new audiobooks and some things I can listen to while I'm at work. In terms of at home, I started marathoning The Golden Girls, and I've started watching Blue Exorcist, which is an anime. And I'm only 3 episodes in, so I don't know how I like it yet. Time will tell, I guess. But I haven't really I've been binging a lot of Forensic Files. I like having that on in the background because I don't have to pay attention to it. I can just have one ear on it, and I can pay attention to what's in front of me and what I'm trying to stitch. So that's that. And I hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy, and feel free to reach out, comment if you have any suggestions, if you want to say hi, if you need someone to talk to. Feel free to reach out, and the next time I see you will be for my video diary on May 16th. So, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.